So, hello everybody. I think we can start. So, thanks for coming. Um, Not a lot of people, but I think that then we'll have much time to discuss. So, today we're going to talk about my story, how I went back to work after my maternity leave. So, probably you're thinking about having kids, or you already have some kids, and or maybe your partner in the position to come back to work, or maybe your colleagues went back from their parental leave, and I feel like this is really important to speak about the problems that new parents are facing and how we can deal with them. So, disclaimer, this is my personal story. It might not correlate with your experience, but this is how I see it, and maybe you'll find something useful. First of all, who am I? I'm software engineer at company Sonar. You probably heard about Sonar Cube, Sonar Cloud, Sonar Lint. So I'm writing static code analysis tool as my everyday job for languages like Java, Kotlin, Scala, and so on. And this is my Twitter handle. You can follow me. Sometimes I tweet some technical stuff, sometimes about life. And there is one more important thing you should know about me. I am Ukrainian. I was born and raised in Kyiv, and for almost 4 years I live in Switzerland. And today my country is in danger. We have problems with our nearest neighbors, and we need all the help that people can give us. And if you haven't spent all your money on DevOps tickets, I really encourage you to follow this link. And if you feel like you want to support Ukraine, you can make a donation to help Ukrainians fight for our freedom. So the most important part of my talk is done. Now let's have some fun. So a few years ago, this was me. Before going on my maternity leave, before having a baby, I was very far in my pregnancy, very pregnant, and I was working, and I haven't actually noticed that I'm pregnant. It didn't affect my work. I was working as usual. Maybe I had some back pain or something but I didn't actually realize that things are going to change, except for one moment. It was the winter party. It was like a week before I was going to leave for labor and then for my maternity leave. And there were a lot of people, and there were a lot of conversations, but all my conversations were the same. People were asking, when is my due date? If I'm expecting for a boy or a girl, how I'm going to name him or her, and all these questions about the baby. And nobody was asking me as I'm a developer, I'm a nice person, I'm an interesting person to talk to. And people were completely ignoring this. They were only focused on the fact that I am a future mom. And there was thankfully one person who actually was talking to me about technical stuff, and we had nice conversation. And he gave me some relief. But at that point, I was really stressed out, and I realized, okay, things are going to change, and they're not going to be the same, and I need to do something. But of course, I'm not the person who give up pretty easily, so I just need some plan. So the first thing that I encourage you as a future parent is to have a plan. So I come up with a plan, which is like this. Every morning of my maternity leave, should wake up and do a lead code task. Then I will need to read some software news every day from Reddit, from Twitter, from my friends or whenever. Then I wanted to learn frameworks. Every month I need to learn some new framework, and thankfully in JavaScript world it's pretty easy to find something new. Develop a new application, and of course continue contributing to open source. Sounds like what's happening in the brain of a pregnant woman. And slowly, when I have a child, I was removing the items from the list one by one, because of course that's not feasible, that's not possible. And at some point, when I realized that I actually removed everything, and I'm not even opening my computer for a few months of my maternity leave, I was really stressed, and I didn't understand where I'm going, whether I'm going to return to work, what I'm going to do. And that was the time when I had to take off my pink glasses and understand that there is an ugly truth. Which ugly truth I'm talking about? Raising a child is hard. It's very hard. It's extremely hard because you need to keep a tiny little human being alive. You don't know how. He cannot say or she what they want. And they always try to do the things to put themselves in danger. And you have to deal with this. You have problems with your sleep, with your health, and so on, and that's hard. Another point, while you're here changing diapers, there are your colleagues who are learning new things, who are taking leadership on some subject, and while you're there, they're not stay still, they learn. And of course, you miss a lot of opportunities, and you have to accept this. That's life, that's ugly truth, but you'll miss a lot of opportunities. You have to restart at some point. When you come back, you cannot immediately deliver, you cannot immediately work at the same level as you worked before. Things changed. But no matter what, I believe you'll make it. Thousands of people are doing it all the time, so I trust that you'll make it. So another point that I learned during my maternity leave, that you have to manage expectations. This was not a bad idea to have a plan. The plan itself was bad. So I just need a new plan. So I come up with slightly relaxed plan. I talked to my partner and we decided that I need 3 hours per week for my personal development. I can do whatever I want, learn whatever I want, watch some presentations, and he takes the kids, one kid, and goes away, and I'm learning, or maybe doing some lead code task, whatever, but spend 3 hours per week mandatory for my personal and professional development. Then, I can read some technical books. I especially learned the power of audiobooks when I'm walking with a stroller. That was a game changer for me. I listened to so many books when I was walking with my son in the stroller, and I learned a lot of things, and both on technology and psychology and other stuff. So I think that's really nice tip. And I even managed to do one open source contribution. It was very tiny, small, to JReleaser, but it actually made me feel that, okay, I am again the part of the community. And the next point that I want to encourage you is to join the community. It's very depressing when you're alone. It's very depressing when nobody helps you, when you don't see success stories. But when you see people being in the same position as you, when you see people who were in the same position as you, like 1 year ago, 2 years ago, you listen to their stories, you understand that there is a light in the end of the tunnel, you understand that they actually went through this. And I think we went to a conference in Crete, and there was a woman who has a kid 1 year older than mine, and she told me about the kindergarten, about her story, and she helped me to relieve a lot of, and to get rid of some stress about going to the childcare. So it's really important to listen to others' stories. And another important thing about community, that you encourage each other. Here in the photo, you can see me with Trisha G. If you don't know, she's awesome, and she is the person who I admire a lot, and why she's so special for me. Many years ago, I saw Trisha with a kid on the conference, because she was a speaker, but she didn't want to leave her kid, and she went there with a kid. And because I saw her doing this, when I had a similar situation, I was like, I'll do it. If Trisha can do it, then I can do it as well. If I didn't see Trisha many years ago with the kid at the conference, I will never consider this as an option. And I think that's very important, that you listen to other stories and that other people inspire you and actually help you to move the limit. So, again, I fought a lot of fears, a lot of problems, and I joined the community, but there still was one big fear that I could not get rid of. My biggest fear, you can guess, was that everything is gonna change. I come back to work and I couldn't program anymore because Java changed. There is new Java version, new framework, whatever. But actually, nothing changed. When I came back, all my knowledge was still relevant. Nothing changed in technology. And there was one thing that changed. I changed. I was a different person now. So what do you mean? I changed my priorities. Today, I always put my son above anything else at work. No matter what, 6 o'clock, I have to pick him up, I have to prepare a dinner for my family. And it was not the case like previously before having kids. I was the kind of person who was living at work previously, and now it's not the case. Then sickness. I have much more source of sicknesses now because me, my son, and then of course like I have a much worse immunity after pregnancy, having given birth. So like, I'm sick much more time, and of course it moves deadlines, it moves some sprints and so on, and it affects my team. Another thing is my attitude. Today for me it's much easier to take it easy. Like there are things that I want to fight for, there are things that I would never fight for, even if I disagree with some decision, because I know that I need some energy for my family. And colleagues. My colleagues are awesome, but there is one problem. I am the only one who has small kid there, and even if they want to understand me, that's in my small team, it's really hard for them to understand through what I'm coming through. And that's why my communication with colleagues changed, and I tried to adapt and rejoin the team again. And at some point I was so stressed out because of all these changes, so I asked for help our PNC team, because I need help there. And we had like a lot of insightful discussions. And one of the best things that I learned, one of the insights that I learned, that I think that being a parent is my weakness, but actually it's my superpower. Try to think of what you think is your weakness and put it the way that is your advantage. What I'm saying, that, well, you can think that you're sick much more time, you're much better at planning. Currently, I understand that I can be sick at any point, so I try to delegate things more. I try not to become a bottleneck for my team. I try to find more realistic deadlines than previously. Then my communication changed with my colleagues, because honestly, like parenting, all the tricks that apply for your kids apply for adults. And you are much better in communicating, understanding the emotions of other people when you are a parent. Prioritizing, now you can choose your battles better, and of course you're not going to be everywhere, but that's fine, and just accept it, and this is not your weakness, this is something which is great. And work-life balance. Previously, as I told you, I was a person who almost lived at work. My previous jobs, I could stay at night to deploy stuff on production. Today, 6 o'clock, I live because I have life. I have something more important in my life than just my work. And I really like my new self. And I really want to end this presentation still in pink colors to show you there is some hope. And there are a few takeaways I want you to learn today. First of all, it's not easy. Sorry for that if you're here for some inspiration for saying that everything is great. No, being working parent is hard. It's like a million times harder than it was for me before the kid. But you're not alone. There are a lot of people, there's a huge community for people who've been doing it for hundreds and thousands years with the kids, trying to do their job. And today, it's much easier to be working parents than it was 50 years ago, and then it was 100 years ago. So slowly, we are pushing the limit. And it's rewarding. Once you've done it, once you see your kid growing, once you see you also achieving something at work, you appreciate it much more than you appreciated it before. And I still believe in you. You'll make it, because you're not alone here. And once you make it, you'll inspire others. Like Trisha inspired me, I hope that I inspire some of you to know that working parent is not a disaster. So there is one thing that I want to say. There is special thanks to my colleague and husband who actually made my return to work possible. And thanks for staying with my kid now while I'm speaking with you. And thank you for attending. I hope you enjoyed the presentation.